I am.
Happy New Year, greetings family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa from the Dr. Mumbi Show in 7D reality, in the middle of paradise. We just send you, blessings of prosperity, of growth, of quantum leaps. May 2024 be the beginning of a new story. I think most of us spent the majority of 2023 just closing out our previous book of life in our own lives, and I'm also hoping that we have also closed out the book of life in for our collective consciousness when it comes to us being the lowest on the pyramid, when it comes to us being the most tortured, the dark continent, all these negative things that are perpetuated in order to keep us enslaved, distracted, and asleep. And family, in this year, because 2024 is going to continue to be a season of transference, where there is a transference of wealth, there's a transference of, prosperity, there's a transference of power from those who had taken it illegally and through magic and through, creating a mental matrix and all kinds of trickery, to the rightful rulers, the rightful custodians, the rightful guardians. And the spirit is what dictates the physical. And even if you look here and you think that Africans, there's no way this could happen because we're like this and we're like that. We have, a foreign army in every African country. We're oppressed. We have all this artificial debt. So we just seem so stuck in the matrix. It almost looks like, can we ever get out? Know in your heart of hearts, family, that the spirit is always what dictates and determines what is happening in the physical. The spiritual is where the next experience is orchestrated, is written out. That's where we write out the book of life. And when we talk of spiritual, it's what we're thinking about and what we're also feeling in our heart of hearts. That is what sets the tone for what we experience in this reality. And when it comes to the spiritual, just in terms of the chosen ones that are here representing the melanated, it's like we have an all-star cast, family. We are the rulers. We are the dictators. We are the highest level creators. We outrank every other race spiritually in the spiritual realm. And we have been able to anchor in an ancestral energy, an ancestral kingdom, an ancestral queendom in the spiritual. Our ancestors are back on those chariots of fire, and they have taken over what is going on spiritually. And so it must manifest physically. But in order for it to manifest physically, it will manifest to those who are on a similar vibration, to those who can mentally connect to it and even mentally see it. Because if you don't see the liberation of Africa, you will not be part of that liberation. You will be part of another narrative where Africa falls, and Africa doesn't fall. But there are those among us who will fall with Babylon. Most of them will fall with Babylon because of their so-called sins, because of what they've done to keep their own enslaved. But there are also those, unfortunately, who will fall with Babylon because of their ignorance, because of their fear, because family, what you believe to be true, some of us are on knowing levels now. 5D and above, we know. But the majority of people are still operating in this believing, which means you're in whatever you're living, what you think about on such a what you tap into, what you connect to. And so there is a great call from the great mother of creation, family, from the great mother of the Bantu, from the great mother of the motherland, of the world, Mama Gaia, whatever you want to call her, family. There is a great call for us to join Africa's army. And joining Africa's army does not mean taking guns and, you know, and going out to the streets. It might mean that for some. But before you go out and do that, make sure that spiritually you have gotten the victory. Before you go out and demonstrate and riot and everything, make sure that spiritually you have gotten the victory. And so for the majority who may not be able to go take to the streets, being a Twitter warrior is not enough. There is an invisible army that has been born that is extremely powerful, and it is changing the trajectory of Africa. We saw it with what has happened in West Africa with Ibrahim Traoré, youngest president doing his thing, and what they've managed to do, Mali and, you know, Cote d'Ivoire and all these countries. Well, the West Africa have set the precedent. Guys have been asking me, what's happening with East Africa? Guys, I think we're being drugged. I think they're putting too much fluoride in our water and putting all kinds of things that are just keeping us like we know what's wrong, but we're almost paralyzed. Stories for other days. But there is an invisible army on the motherland family that cannot be stopped, that cannot be taken out, that cannot be imprisoned because it cannot be seen. And that invisible army is having a recruitment drive. And I'm here to tell you about it, family. The Great Mother is on a victory path. And she is calling for you to add your mind to her army, to add your heart and your thoughts, your thinking and your feeling to her great army. And the way you do that, family, is we must now become conscious mental warriors, conscious mental soldiers, where we fight the army word for word, narrative for narrative. They put out this narrative, we cancel it. They talk about how they're taking things from us. We bring in the narrative of we're outraged, this is not going to happen, this is not right, this is not just. They talk about how certain governments are making laws that are unfavorable to us, and we come back and we you know, flood the mental and psychic airwaves with what we want to happen in our nations. Because we may not have a physical army right now to walk into Congo and liberate the children who are starving there. I've seen all your emails sometimes, family, but it's like if we're not talking solutions, there's no problem of bigging up what Babylon is doing. We may not have those physical armies and the jets and the bombs, but we have our minds. And already the mind of the chosen are online to this African mind. And so you are being asked to add your mind and your heart to that, to the African soul, family. And you do that by praying. For those of you who still pray, whatever your spiritual practice is, whether it's visualization, whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer, whether it's affirmations, whether it's using the laws of manifestation and writing things out and things like that. Whatever you do, as much as you are manifesting for your own life, as much as you are praying for your life, for your family, for your children, also add positive prayers for the soul and mind and heart of Africa, that we may heal from the trauma, that we may heal from the dissociation and the narcissistic poison of Babylon, and that we may transform Mama Africa within our lives, within our generation. See Africa winning. Visualize Africa taking over the rulership of the world. We may not even be able to think what that would look like, because it's not about democracy. There'll be no democracy and parliaments and all this stuff. That's a very lower level, rudimentary level of governance. But we will need people on our level to take on the roles of being presidents of these corrupt systems, so that they can now have the leadership to transform them. And the people will have to support it. Because there are so many transformational, brilliant leaders who have been so afraid to step forward because they've seen how that culture and that narrative of betrayal has been so rampant, where we're constantly killing and sacrificing our saviors, our transformational leaders, the Martin, I know I hate to use these terms loosely, but the Martin Luther King Jr.'s and the Malcolm X's of our generation. But now, the Most High is going to bring crazy favor and rain crazy abundance and prosperity on those chosen leaders, on those Malcolm X's who have been in the trenches for so long. It is no longer about waiting on the group consciousness. But if you want to make it family, this is how you liberate yourself. This is how you avoid the fall of Babylon. And it's not too late. Is you need to declare your allegiance. Literally say, I declare my allegiance, my spiritual, physical, and mental allegiance to Mama Africa and the liberation of Mama Africa within my lifetime. I lend my consciousness to the group consciousness, to the group mind of Africa, being liberated, being restored, and being brought into the ancient future that is now emerging. So just even to make a prayer to the Most High, saying, oh Most High, may Africa be liberated in my generation. May we go back to being the land of milk and honey, where we would find gold nuggets just lying everywhere. May our gold mines and our diamond mines and our ruby mines be transferred to the true custodians who are already here, the archangels who are already here. And may they then transfer that wealth to everybody. And may Africa be the better version of what may now imagine of Europe, where everyone has a home, everyone is eating, everyone is comfortable, everyone is, that's how we're creating an army. By making sure everything we're feeling, thinking, and saying about Mama Africa is about us being victorious, is transformational, adds instead of subtracts, elevates instead of bringing us down. And it's already happening in all the information that has come out about what, at least all of us now can piece together what happened to us as an African people, what really happened. We may not have the full picture, but we kind of have it, because before even that was hidden. And we continue to be in the age of revelation, but we're now also in the age of transition, where what are we building for ourselves? So think positively about Africa. Speak positively about Africa. Speak positively about your brothers and sisters. Let's work individually on ending those curses of us being separate, of us not trusting one another, of us giving each other, that weird eye. If someone betrays you, if someone lets you down, let that person go. But don't assume that all of us are like that. And this is something I'm working on too, family. Because we have all suffered extreme betrayal. But it's also because our energy wasn't balanced. So that those doors and those channels are open. But if you've done the necessary individual work, all those doors and channels are now closed. And you are attracting people that are like you. And if anyone negative comes in, you overstand them. I think even now, that gift of discernment is one of the most powerful gifts, because you'll see the good and bad and the good and the bad in people. And it's now up to you to know where to place them. Because the people who are really managed to move forward have balanced the so-good, good and bad in themselves. So there's their creative nature, but they're also tapped into their destructive nature, because that's the only way we can move forward, family. In a vampire-ristic world, when you're dealing with vampires and destroyers, you can't just be a creator. You also have to have tapped in your destroyer nature. But make sure that you're not destroying those that are nearest and dearest to you through a lack of faith, through a lack of knowing, through ignorance, and through brokenness. May 2024 be the year that you transition or start to transition into the life you've always dreamed for you and your family. May you move into incredible abundance, abundance of love, abundance of great thoughts, abundance of ideas, abundance of material wealth, and abundance of guidance and security from the higher spiritual realms. Sending you so much love, family. And let me give a special shout out to literally the sponsors of this show who have kept us going for so long. Wishing you guys an extra level, an extra little love and magic in your lives just for believing in the dream and believing in our life mission. To our Patreon family, we love you so much. To every single person that has supported us through PayPal, we love you guys so much. Because if it wasn't for you, we would not be having such a massive impact on our group consciousness and collectively changing the narrative and destiny of Mama Africa. It's you and I, family. It's I and I. TUKO, PAMOJA.